What's going on? Boom, we back. Happy September. Darla, hello, my friend. Happy September 1st, everybody. Chad, what's up, my brother? Michael, good to see you. Let me go over and post this on Facebook as well. One sec, guys. I think I can. Or can somebody post Chad or Darla or Michael? If one of you guys can post the YouTube link in our Facebook page, that would be awesome. Hugh, what's up? Good to see you. Kyle, what's up, my friend? Happy Thursday, September 1st. We have made it back to school. The kids have gone back to school, which is nice. Sean, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Kyle, I will tell you about my leg here in a minute. Just because I'm sure as people join, they'll ask why I have crutches and why my leg is up. So give me a second, and I'll tell you all what happened to my leg. I think Hugh and Darla are the only ones that know. So it's been a brutal 2 weeks. Yeah, see, I'll address the crutches here in a sec, everybody. Sorry for the mess too. My wife was trying to put up my liquor shelf so it looks a little bit better, but it's been a weird couple weeks, so we're still remodeling. Randy, what's up, my friend? Yeah, Randy, yes, this will be able to view later. We're not going to take this down. Travis, what's going on? Kyle, good to see you, bro. Yeah, working hard. Well, I think you're working hard. I'm working hard. And not just with one leg. So, Steve Bachman, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. All right, we're going to give it 2 more minutes and we'll get started. We're going to do a quick catch up. And then now that school has started and we're back in the full swing of things, we're going to get these back going once a week. Now that the summer break is over and things are picking back up. They went to admin for approval. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, let me try to get this posted on Facebook real quick, guys, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Hold on, let me pull it up on my phone. Oh. All right, here we go. I think it is posted now on Facebook, everybody. Yeah, we should be good. Okay, I think we're good to go. So it should take a few minutes, but it's up on Facebook. All right, guys, let's get started. 7:05. Happy Thursday. Happy September 1st. Ready to rock and roll. Okay, so first, since everybody's asking, I have crutches right there. 3 weeks ago, I was doing jiu-jitsu, and I got a bucket tear on my meniscus. And so last week, I had my meniscus repaired, and so I'll be on crutches for like 5 weeks. But there it is. It's all braced up. Scars aren't too bad, but with a 7 and 5-year-old, it's kind of tough. But yeah, so that's why my leg is up. I'm not on pain meds anymore, which is great. So the mind is coming back slowly but surely. But I wanted to make sure that that we were still able to do this, even though my leg is impaired. So anyways, that's the reason for the crutches. That's why I'm kind of sitting weird. But anyways, happy September 1st, everybody. It's been about 6 weeks since we've done one of these. Let me catch everybody up on, and if anybody, I know a few people have texted me and asked if this is going to be up later for review. Yes, we're not going to take this down. This is staying up. There's really no company secrets we're going to talk about tonight, and that we're actually going to talk about how we're going to, as we grow and move forward and get more notoriety and more publicity, how we're going to actually start delineating these types of meetings with shareholders, which almost everybody on this phone, on this live chat, is a shareholder. So because we do want to do shareholder meetings starting this quarter, talk about kind of like company secrets, but that are not open to the public. And so let me first give a brief update on the last 6 weeks, and then where we're heading over the next 4 to 6 weeks, and then how the end of the year is going to look. So the last 6-7 weeks has been, it's been a grind. Darth, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. It's been a grind from an engineering standpoint. So I know a lot of you, and Michael, I think you're on the phone. So the Plaid issue has been giving us a lot of trouble. And so the Plaid, again, is how you integrate your banking into the brokerage account, into our brokerage account. So what we had to do is we had to completely rebuild the backend infrastructure. And so, mind you, the first time we did this, it took us like 6 or 7 months to build the backend infrastructure. We have bulked up our engineering team, and they got it done in 6 weeks. And so what you all will be seeing is better functionality with Plaid and getting money in and out of the brokerage account. That has been patched and is either has been deployed or will be deployed here in the next few days. But then what we also ran into was there's been proxy security issues. And I don't know if Christina's on the phone, or I think there's a few other people that have had proxy security issues. And so we had to also fix that. And there's a number of, it only affected a few accounts, but obviously as we scale out of, we have 500 active accounts now on the trading platform. As we scale to thousands and thousands, then obviously that we want to remediate that before we do a big marketing push to get tens of thousands of accounts. So that has been fixed. So we had the Plaid issue, we had the whole back end that needed to be re-architect and redeployed. Then we had the security proxy issues that needed to be fixed as well. On top of all that, as we start fixing stuff that need to be fixed, it also popped up other bugs in the software that we had to also address. So literally the last 6 to 7 weeks has been completely, Frank, what's up, my friend? Has been completely restructuring the backend infrastructure to be able to accommodate scale. So remember when we first launched, this is a minimum viable product, right? Like we had to get it to market. We needed hundreds of people to beta test it. We are starting to be done with the beta testing, and we'll be ready for the next phase, and then we'll get into that here in a moment. Also, what we did, let me show you guys. Actually, let me pop this up. I was hoping to have it deployed already, but we're actually going to wait till next week when we launch WeFunder, and I'll go into the specifics of that here in a moment. One moment. I want to pop up a few features that I think you guys will find interesting. But the first one, and I know this has been a long time coming, but with the new backend build, we were able to build a dashboard that allows us to show people shares. So I mean, Steve, I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. Darla, Hugh, all of you guys, Sean, Corey, about how many shares do I own of the company. And so the engineers, while they were rebuilding all this, built a dashboard. So Carson and I, because we don't know anything about coding, Ed, what's up, bro? We don't know anything about coding. They built essentially a spreadsheet. When we punch in people's shares, it just automatically populates in the platform. So a few of you should start to see the amount of shares that you own. Now, don't misconstrue this for a moment. Not everyone's going to see it yet, but we just got this functionality about 5 days ago, and then I was out for my knee surgery. So we will implement it over the next week or so so that you can, for those that own shares of the company, we'll be able to start visualizing those. So I know that was something that was a long time coming, and everyone has been extremely patient on that. So I appreciate that. But now that functionality has been deployed. And Steve, I think if you're still here, Steve, you do see the number of shares in your app now, correct? I don't know if you dropped off or not, but I know there's a few people that we've deployed it to already, and then I was out for a few days. Okay, so that's one. So we were able to have that functionality built in, and then again, I know sometimes the communication has lacked at times, especially when we go like super hard into some engineering sprints. That communication on other things go down by the wayside. And so one thing that I wanted the engineers to do as well is build in a roadmap into our app, and this is on the web app as well. So if you guys can see let me know if you can see my screen, and then I can blow this up a little bit more. Andre, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Can you all see my screen okay? I do want to show this to you guys. So this, I think there's just a little bit of a delay, but okay, cool. So this is the roadmap feature in the app, and this is hopefully, of course, as we scale as well. So now we're thinking about, okay, we have 500-600 people on the platform that are trading, that want company updates, that want to stay involved, that want to vote on stuff, that want to have input on direction of the company. So how do we facilitate that at scale? How do we facilitate that with 50, 60, 70, 80,000 users? And so this is one of the ways that we're going to do it. And so this is our feature roadmap. This will be deployed next week before WeFunder launch on everybody's devices and on the web app. I know people are asking about Android. We're going to get to that in a moment. But on the web application, so app.purple.fi, and then on the Stonks Trading app, which will all be rebranded shortly, there's a feature roadmap. And so how this is going to look. So we've launched, of course, to date, U.S. stocks trading, equities, and crypto trading. So that's what we've launched, and then when it has been deployed. There's 3 buckets here. The next bucket is what is under development. Now, this is not necessarily, so don't take this as what's under development right now. These are just placeholders. But under development is savings accounts, let's say, as a placeholder, and that will be deployed in Q3 of 2022. What I want to, now, again, don't misconstrue this as this coming out this month. That's not what this is, just for illustrative purposes. But what this will do is provide a real-time feedback of what things we're working on. And then, of course, if there's bugs in the platform, like Plaid, for example, when, for 3-4 months we've been addressing this Plaid issue, this will also be in there. So, so there's like feature roadmap, which is production, and then there's like bug issues, which everybody needs to be involved in as well. So so that's like currently under development. And then the third tab, which I don't have here, but it will look the same, that says seeking feedback. And this is where kind of the power of our community will be in full force. So say, like I'm sitting in my office drawing, thinking about like, okay, how do we build this company even more, offer better features, faster trading, more liquidity, whatever it is. So I'll come up with an idea, right? Like savings accounts or credit cards. So what we'll do is we will deploy a seeking feedback in here as well, which everyone will be prompted in the app and via email to subscribe to that, let's say, savings account seeking feedback feature. That will allow everybody in the company, shareholders, but also users, to provide their feedback on like, yes, savings accounts is a good idea. These are the APYs we're looking at, 3%, 5%, or this is why this is not a good idea. So it's bringing the inclusiveness of what we're trying to build right within the app as well. And so during this complete restructuring of the back-end infrastructure, the engineers created some dashboards for us so that we can visualize shares, get communication out better, but then also keep an up-to-date feature roadmap for everybody so that, if I'm slow to getting back, to individuals or Karsten or our customer success team as it grows, there's actually some live feedback happening in the app. And that's what the goal is. So this will go out next week as we prepare to launch our next WeFunder campaign, which we'll talk about here next. But I want to pause there. Thoughts on this, guys? Like on the what's been launched, under development, seeking feedback. Do you like kind of how this workflow? And of course, as you all get into it, like we'll be able to see what works, what doesn't work, improve on that. But do you like kind of like how the idea of this is going, where we can keep everybody up to date, kind of under real time, and then seeking feedback on features that we want to roll out in the future? Or any other questions at this point? And then we'll talk about WeFunder and then kind of what's next. Okay. So I think there is a little bit of, yes, keeps the look perfect. Yeah, and that's been the goal. With how we, again, like let's kind of like retouch on like how we've decided to build the company, at least for the first stage, like right now. There are certain limitations that we're under because we didn't go out and raise $20 million from an investment bank, right? And so it's not that like I don't want to get all these features out, or communication could be better, or whatever it is, right? There's going to be problems as we continue to go, as we scale. However, because we don't have $20 million in the bank from an investment bank, we don't have 200 people on the team, right? And we chose to do that as a company. So, so like just keeping that top of mind, that like sometimes features seem to get slow rolling, and it's because we have 3 engineers, right? And so, but as we go into this next raise, we'll touch on how we look at scaling from here on out. So, having a visual roadmap on app is very cool. Love the idea of giving feedback. Okay, cool. Okay, so go ahead and leave comments. I'm going to talk about WeFunder, what that's going to look like, and then what that enables us to do for the next 2 years. So we are launching a WeFunder campaign next. It should go out next Saturday if our promo video can be done. I feel like I'm super. I'm glad to be back to you guys. Yeah, it's been. We're not going to go that long without having AMA again. But yeah, it's real nice to be back together for sure. Okay, so next Saturday, mark the calendars. This is, just for everybody to know it's coming. We're launching another WeFunder campaign. Hopefully next Saturday. It's going to be next Saturday if the promo video gets done in time, which I was told by the developer of that. Yes, Andre, we're going to talk about this here in a moment. And they fixed all the problems that we had last time. But we'll address that. If the promo video can get done in time, and he said it should be done by next Thursday, so we should have plenty of time. This next WeFunder round, we are doing it very, very differently. Meaning we have 2 full-time people that are managing it. We have an ad budget to drive traffic to it. And we're looking to raise $5 million on a $25 million post-money valuation. Basically what that means is each share is worth $2.50. Is essentially what that means. Now, when I was deciding, like, should we raise again on WeFunder? All right, and yeah, since we doubled the size since I told everybody what happened, and then we'll revisit WeFunder. No, 3 weeks ago I tore my meniscus, had a bucket tear doing jiu-jitsu, and so I had surgery last week. So it's I'll be on crutches for like 5 weeks, so it sucks. But So be it. But anyway, so we're raising $5 million on $25 million post-money valuation. We have about 300, 400K like requested already, and this is just people that have reached out and said, when you have another raise, I want to get in. So we haven't even advertised it to anybody yet. But these are people that I've like made a list of, that I've reached out personally and said, I want more shares when it's open. So we have about 400,000 in requested allocation already, but we're going to be putting all our firepower behind this. And here's a few reasons why. The 5 million gives us about a 3-year runway. But not only that, it allows us to build an engineering team of about 20 full-time engineers that are in-house. And then I am predicting that 5 million will also get us to about 500,000 to 1 million activations, so active accounts. One of the things that we are looking at doing is, especially because of the market, like the markets at the moment, like crypto has crashed significantly. The S&P is down 10% like in the last 10 days. So maybe recession, maybe not recession. But what we've seen, and then obviously data from like Webull and Robinhood and everything, is people are trading like 50 to 60% less. So trading volume is significantly down. And so what we see with our own data, but then also what we're seeing like as a greater whole in the market, is people are either just like pulling their money in the brokerage account and not using it, or removing it, just putting it in their savings account until the markets come back. I've done that. I've done probably 80% of my holdings are dry now. It's just dry powder as we wait. I've been buying a little bit, but not significantly. And so one of the things that we are going to do is, while this is happening, $105 per share would be better for refund. Hugh, let's talk about mechanics here in just 1 second. But I kind of want to talk about philosophy, and then we'll talk about the pricing. So what we've been approached by a bank, Evolve Bank and Trust, and a business as a service, a banking as a service provider called Solid, to build out checking accounts, high yield savings accounts, debit cards and credit cards, and they want to partner with us to be able to offer this. Now, what's cool is we already have the trading infrastructure, and so a part of our original plan is creating a super app for the retailers, for the retail traders. And so on the roadmap for our next update, our next version is, of course, normal charting and stock trading, crypto trading, but also a more simple version of just being able to buy stocks from your checking account. Like, I want to buy $100 worth of Apple, boom, execute is done. But that's not the hook. That's not the hook at the moment. Our banking partner, or potential banking partner, has made a way for us to offer FDIC-insured high-yield savings accounts up to 5% APY on the savings accounts, which would position us as the largest APY provider in the country, or one of them. I mean, probably top 2 or 3. And so there's other mechanisms that I'm thinking about how we position ourselves there. But because of the market conditions, we are perfectly positioned to be able to offer very, very safe FDIC-insured high-yield savings accounts at 5%, 4 to 5% APY. While people wait, their money continues to grow at 5% in a bank account, which, based on just my research and the market conditions, I foresee us having about 1 million active accounts in about 6 to 9 months once that's launched. What that means is that should give us a valuation, and again, don't quote me on this, but I'll back up what I say based on what I currently see in the market. But with 1 million active checking and savings accounts, that should give us a valuation of between $1.2 and $2 billion. Chime, which is just a banking platform, has 13-ish million users, checking account holders and savings account holders. They're currently valued at about 50 billion. And so, if we want to go after 1 million in the market share with one of the highest savings accounts in the country, the 5% is super attractive. Now, what that does is as the markets are correcting, and so here's the thought process behind it. Like, people aren't trading, people aren't depositing into their brokerage accounts, trading volume is down by 50%. As people are waiting, they're just putting their money in the savings account. And so we can capture that market. We already have the on-ramp to crypto and stocks. So as the markets come back, people will deploy their money back into the markets. And then we have a full banking and trading ecosystem, which is what we went out to do when we first started the company. So anyways, that is the big push behind the next WeFunder round. That 5 million should get us 1 million trading accounts, savings accounts, and checking accounts between the three of those, with a projection of about a $1 to $2 billion valuation. So the reason why we're keeping it at 25 million, and Hugh, this goes back to your question, and we can play with this a little bit. Like, so we can actually do discounts. So, we could say, at $5 a share, like the first 2.5 million is at 25 million, and then after that it bumps up to $5 million or $5 per share. So what this technically is doing is piggybacking off the last tail end of the raise. And the reason why I wanted to keep it at 25 million, but if we disagree with this, let's talk about it, is because there's quite a few people that did not get into the last WeFunder round, that I want to make sure that still have the opportunity for the $2.50 per share. So that's the thinking behind that. And currently with where we're at, that's given current market conditions, we could argue for a $40 million valuation, 50 million, but 25, just current market conditions seem relatively fair. But again, this isn't just my decision. I think this is something that, do we want to go for a $50 million valuation at this point and raise 5 million? And so anyways, I'm happy to hear comments on that and thoughts on that, as we think through that. And go ahead and put it in the chat as well. Frank, shares in my account and I'll buy it 500. Yeah, Frank, I think you came a little bit after I explained. So we actually just launched a feature on the admin backend to be able to show shares. So there's a few people that have their shares shown now. It was just given to us last week. So everyone's shares are going to be populated in there in the next week. But the functionality is there now. So the engineers did build that for us in this last spring. Recovery does suck, bro, for sure. This is my second knee surgery too. I still don't see any shares from. Yeah, Andre, did I answer your question there? I think you came a little bit late after I explained that as well. A few people on this call now have their shares visualized in the platform. Because I had knee surgery last week, I just couldn't get to everybody yet. But Carson and I will get that caught up here in the next week or so, after Labor Day probably. Hugh, not necessarily. I mean, so $5 per share. It would be better for us, right? Because at 5 million, at 25 million valuation, we're giving up, 18% of the company. Now that comes from me, right? So that's no one else being diluted. Frank, the document's going to come from WeFunder. That's what I'm trying to explain here. So we're not handling anything else on our own. We're just gonna have a platform like WeFunder do it because they do all the filings for us, and it's just from an admin perspective, it's just way easier to have that done. So yeah, for us, it's better, right? Because if we got it at $1, now it's $5. Yeah, it's 50 million. Now it's better for those that don't want to buy anymore, right? And so like, if we don't want to buy anymore, sweet. I still have my shares now. It's at $5. If people did want to buy more, then it's not as good for them, right? Because they're buying at a higher valuation. But again, I think this is something that is worth being discussed and talked about. We also don't want to price ourselves out of the market, right? And so if we have such a high valuation, people may not see, a 100x return on that, in the next 2 years. So those are all kind of the considerations there. How does a purple coin affect our valuation? So this is actually, and I got to get with a few of you that got in on the DPA. Mike, I think you're still on the, but Hugh, let's chat tomorrow also, because I know you have a pretty big cluster there. So what we're going to do is with this raise, it's going to mint some of the treasury as well. But what we want to do is we want to, at least for right now, blend shareholder value and token holder value, right? And so one of the things that we've been thinking through is, okay, so for shareholders, if 50% of all the revenue is going to the treasury, but let's say a shareholder doesn't own any tokens, then that shareholder who took the risk is missing out on 50% of the upside. On the other side, people that bought the token that don't have shares, and Michael, if you want to talk to me about this too this week, let me know. We can talk through it. But on the other side, people that invested into or bought the token through the DPA, they don't have any shares, so they're missing out on 50% of the company value. And so what we're working through with WeFunder, because we just found out that we can actually offer tokens on WeFunder now, which is a development that happened over the last quarter. We're going to, as an investment perk, so then both the treasury and the company treasury is aligned for shareholder and token holders. A part of the raise is going to go and fund the treasury, but equity holders will also own tokens. So guys like Michael, guys like Michael, Hugh, and myself, I bought a token in the DPA as well, but I didn't get shares. Let's say we're going to airdrop shares to people that bought the token, so that y'all have equity and token in the WeFunder raise moving forward. And again, we'll talk about OG stuff later. OGs are getting token as a part of that as well. But as an investment perk in WeFunder moving forward, we're going to also airdrop tokens. So equity holders own token, and token holders at this point of the company own equity. That way, there's no misaligned incentives between the company and the token holders. So I have a whole pitch or a whole kind of diagram in our white paper that I've been working on, which leads me into our webinar that we're going to have next Thursday, which will be completely over all this, the mechanisms of the raise, the mechanics of the raise, how the token fits into the company as utility and in-app currency rather than a speculative investment, but there's a consumption mechanism there that we'll talk about next week. And then how the token holder and the equity holder at this point in the company, this is not going to be how it's going to be, when we have 2 million users. But at this point in the company, it's important, in my opinion, that token holders get the same benefit as equity holders and vice versa. Equity holders also get the same benefit as a token holder. So anyways, that's a lot. We're going to dive a lot more into that at that webinar, which will be a closed door webinar next Thursday, or we'll do it next Saturday. I think Saturday is on the calendar, but I'll send the event right to everybody tomorrow. It will need to be RSVP'd for, but we're going to cover all that in the webinar, closed door webinar next week. But yeah, Michael, I think you have my number. Just shoot me a text. Hugh, same thing. Just shoot me a text and we'll talk to the mechanisms there. Frank, what's up, man? You said hello. What can I help you with, brother? All right, guys. So Michael, Hugh, other token and equity holders, Corey, how I'm thinking through that, does that kind of make sense? Like, only token holders will suffer because they'll miss out on 50% of the upside. And only equity holders will suffer because they'll miss out on 50% of the token production. So aligning both centers, in my opinion, from a business perspective, makes sense at this point in the company. But I would love to hear some feedback on that, for sure. Oh, okay, cool. Michael, the webinar should be at 1 o'clock. Now, it will be a recorded webinar, so anybody that RSVPs will still have access to it. but we'll probably do it at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then we'll repeat it again. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought so too. So, yeah, and again, like people coming in, like they're gonna see the token on the roadmap, right? And it's just like, well, okay, how do I get a part of that? You know, or do they take away from equity holders and whatnot? So anyways, yeah, we'll talk more about that on Saturday during next Saturday during our webinar. All right, guys. Well, I wish we could talk more, but my knee is on fire. And so I'm gonna, yeah, Hugh, call me tomorrow. We'll talk more about it. But I gotta get my okay. My biggest question tonight is the Android app and setting up my account. Okay, so Michael, yes. So the Android app. Sorry, this was the last thing I wanted to cover, and then we'll call it a night, and we'll talk again next week. So the Android app will be done. It's going to cost us about $100,000 to build, and so that is going to be done after the first phase of the WeFunder campaign gets done. But in the meantime, you still can build an account. You can go to app.purple.fi, which is our web application, and it's going to have all the same features, right? It's a mobile-friendly app. You can, yeah, no worries, Ed. If I don't get back to you tonight, it's almost 8 o'clock here, but I'll hit you back up in the morning. So app.purple.fi is our web application. It's mobile-friendly, so we designed it so that Android users can still trade on it on their mobile phone. But it saved us like 90% to actually get the web app out. And then we just have a lot more functionality. However, when the Android app is out, and so I'm hoping to have it, and it'll be on our feature roadmap when we launch it next week. But I'm hoping to have it out within a month or so. Steve, yes, the ambassador money goes towards the crypto coin. Yes. Which will all be resolved once we get the WeFunder raise out the door. Anyways, you can go open up an account, app.purple.fi, and set up your account. When the Android app comes out, it will automatically link, so you're not going to have to open up another account when the Android app is out. Better burp it up tonight. I will. Frank, we'll get your shares in as quickly as possible. This is a task for Karsten over the next couple over the next week or so. Thank you, sir. We'll call you weekend, both free to have a chat. Awesome. Yeah, just let me. Yeah, I'm available, guys, anytime if you want to chat. Anybody on the phone, if you want to give me a call, just let me know. Shoot me a text and I'll give you my number. Cool, guys. All right. Well, it was awesome catching up with all of you. I got to go elevate my leg a little bit more because it's throbbing. But if you need anything, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, send me a message with Karsten in the app or on the web app. And now that school's back in session, we're ready to start cranking hard again to get these goals out the door. But appreciate all of you guys, and we'll talk again soon. Have a great night, everybody.